Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching Naharekte from the Russian server playing in the Tier 7 French Premium Light Tank. It is the AMX 1357, and this specifically is the non-skinned variant of this vehicle. Now, I haven't featured this tank since I had the pleasure of going to Warsaw and commentating at War Gaming's Grand Finals for their competitive esport mode, I guess, so to say, and that was an absolute blast. And this vehicle was released for that in 2015 to celebrate it, and it was given to everybody who went to the event, and you had the opportunity to purchase it in the gift shop as well. Now, that is the AMX 1357 GF, with GF standing for Grand Finals. However, now, I'm not sure if this is an April Fool's or not, but no, you can actually purchase it. This tank is available for 48 hours as of today, the 1st of April. And I haven't featured this tank on the channel in 3 years, and so I wanted to let you know my opinion about whether it's worth it and how the vehicle has changed since it was released. Now, statistically, the tank is remained identical for the last 3 years, but there's one thing that's massively changed about this tank, and that is a complete rework of the light tank matchmaking. Back when this vehicle was released as a Tier 7 light tank, Tier 7 light tanks got matched up like Tier 8 tanks, like Tier 8 mediums, Tier 8 heavies, i.e. a Tier 7 light tank would be able to sometimes meet Tier 6 opponents and then sometimes meet Tier 10 opponents. However, when Wargaming restructured the light tank tech trees, all of the premium vehicles effectively got their matchmaker buffed. The Black Dog at Tier 9, that M41, previously had kind of like Tier 9 medium tank matchmaking. Now it can meet Tier 6 vehicles, but didn't have its statistics changed. And it's exactly the same scenario for this vehicle. It can now meet Tier 5 tanks. Well, it has had the opportunity to do so for at least the last year and a half, right? Since the tech tree was restructured. And so that was just a huge buff for the tank. Effectively, it just dropped down a whole tier with regards to its matchmaking, and obviously the strength of the vehicle as well, considering the statistics haven't changed. And so, what do you have to look forward to if you do pick up an AMX 1357? Well, a gigantic magazine. Do you see this? As the name would suggest, this vehicle uses a 57mm, and this 57mm packs 90 alpha damage with a single shot, but it carries 8 rounds of ammunition, and the best thing about this vehicle is only 1 second delay between unloading the shells, and so that means that you can do 720 damage within 7 seconds of the first shot. So that's not too bad, but then again, when we think about it, something like a T71 at Tier 7 is packing a 6-round autoloader with 150 damage, albeit that I guess it's going to take the vehicle 10 seconds to fire off. And so, I guess if you want to try and assassinate something that's on 700 hit points a little bit quicker, then this vehicle can be a lot of fun. Or alternatively, maybe you want to divide your shots up against multiple opponents, then this vehicle can be very good as well. And also, when you're penetrating a lot of shots, that means a lot of opportunities for ammo racks, killing drivers, commanders, or even setting enemy vehicles on fire. And so that's what makes this vehicle rather kick-ass, is just holding down the mouse button like this and just laughing your butt off as you unload 8 shells very, very quickly. You do feel a little bit crazy driving around in this tank. And it's not exactly slow. It doesn't have the best power to weight ratio at just over 17, but its ground resistances kind of make up for it, so it can get around. It's not the fastest of light tanks, but most light tanks at Tier 7 don't really have such a devastating gun. But then again, maybe I'm kind of overthinking this vehicle a little bit too much, because its gun isn't that incredible. If you want, I'd say that the T71, the standard vehicle, is the more competitive tank. However, this vehicle's standard ammunition only costs 85 credits per shot, and so if you can avoid dabbing that 2 key, or in the example of Naharekte, dabbing the 1 key, because he's put his premium ammunition on his 1 key here, you can actually make some real good credits. And hats off to Naharekte for basically deciding that he wants to try and use the right ammunition against the right tanks. Now, the real downside to this vehicle is the fact that it carries so few rounds, and so lots of people love to take a large amount of APCR rounds because the penetration on these standard rounds is not excellent. 143? That's really not very good at all, is it? And even the premium rounds are packing 195, and considering this vehicle can meet Tier 9 heavies, yeah, what are you going to do with 143mm of penetration against a Tier 9 heavy? And especially when you're in an autoloader and you really need to make those shots count. Now, when you do fire premium rounds in this tank, then all of your profitability is just pretty much going out the window, as you're paying 2,800 credits per shot. And when you think about those 8 rounds, you're dumping 20,000 credits to deal 720 damage to your opponents. That doesn't sound like a very economical way to play World of Tanks, right? And I guess you've also got to consider that this is a very nice matchup, and so Naharakta is being a lot more competitive with the standard rounds than he would be in a bad matchup as well. And so it's kind of a bit of a funny vehicle, this. In a side matchup like this, the smaller magazine that this vehicle has comparatively to some of the other Tier 7 and Tier 8 autoloaders feels like kind of a bit of an advantage, because you can manage to reload the entire magazine within 16 seconds of unloading it. And if you've got good crew skills and you're maybe using some coffee, then you're going to be able to get that 16-second reload even lower. And it just feels absolutely crazy how many rounds this tank is firing. So if you've always wanted to play a light tank that just goes absolutely crazy with its unload speed, then yeah, you might want to like this. And this is where this tank is in its environment. Here we go. 3 into the Gorilla, turns for the Hummel, 1 into the Hummel, 2 into the Hummel, 3, and then finish him off. Oh no, the shell ricochets! And Naharakta is pulling back, but has 1 more shell left in. Guess he's pulling back because he's worried about the Bishop, or possibly even the OI from the center of the map would be able to get a shot on him here, and that would be an absolute disaster. That would spell the end for the chances of Naharakta's team for being able to get through this one. But he goes back up without having to reload and fires off the killing blow, picking up 2 kills on self-propelled guns in a single magazine, and that's where this vehicle does feel a lot of fun. I've had, I remember in my original video that I put out, obviously in 2015 on this tank, my full review of the vehicle, and if you want to know more in-depth analysis about this tank, you should go and check that out, that I was just driving around killing Tier 10 self-propelled guns. It does feel absolutely awesome to just auto-aim sometimes in this tank and hold down your mouse button against vehicles that you know you can penetrate. Okay, so Naharakta has decided that he has to make his way back to defend the cap circle, because capping out against a Bishop and an OI that might be sitting in the middle of the map is not a sensible idea. Now the E25 on his team just managed to pick up a kill, so it's looking like he's got a bit more of an opportunity to do this and enough ammunition left to be able to carry the game. But then again, for all of the shooting that he's managed to do here, he still hasn't quite done 2,000 damage, but 8 kills, well, at least he's been finishing off the tanks, right? Okay, so the E25 falls to the Scorpion, another Tier 7 premium tank destroyer. Oh, here we go. First one's a miss, second one's a hit, third one in, fourth one in. Looks like the auto-aim being used to great effect here, and a fire extinguisher doing the work to be able to finish off the Scorpion. Monster result there for this tank. Now that fire, fairly fortunate, because it means that even though a shell was missed, managed to take it out in a single magazine. But I think the Naharakta would have been okay to reload, although, gosh, maybe the Scorpion would have been able to kill him 50% of the time, considering he's only on 240 hit points now. Okay, so he's trying to take a look over the valley to try and find out where this OI has gone. Unable to catch a glimpse on the Tier 6 Japanese Super Heavy. Also got to worry about that Bishop, you know, that Tier 5 British self-propelled gun has got a great rate of fire, great accuracy, and it can loop shells pretty much over mounds and buildings, so there's no way to really get safe from it unless you've got some kind of side scraper alongside you. Okay, unable to find the OI. Now Naharakta is going to be able to try and progress his way down towards the slope to see if he can find that Tier 6 Japanese Super Heavy. So other things to mention about this vehicle is that its accuracy isn't too bad at 0.37. And also, the traverse speeds on this vehicle are very rapid, so even though you don't quite have the power to wait, you can still turn the vehicle very quickly indeed, unless you get on soft terrain. One thing that does kind of suck about this tank compared to, for example, the Tier 7 American autoloading light tank, the T-71, is that it only packs 6 degrees of gun depression, which can make it feel very awkward on a ridgeline. So the Bishop caught completely out here, and Naharakta finish is off, picking up now 3 kills on self-propelled guns. Alright, cool stuff. Now reloading more APCR rounds because of the limited amount of ammunition that this vehicle can carry. Can only carry 56 rounds, and that sounds like quite a lot, but when you consider the alpha damage, the maximum potential damage, well, the average potential damage that this vehicle is able to do is if it penetrates every single one of its shells is just over 5,000. And that's not going to go a long way, especially considering the penetration isn't the best, and you're going to be bouncing quite a lot of those shells. Alright, so now on 10 kills. Can Naharekta be able to go in here to pick up a kill on the OI? Very clever to not enter the cap circle, because if he enters the cap circle, the OI is going to know exactly where he is. He's going to make his way down the east, but finally the OI appears, only on 49 hit points, and a long-range shot into the side finishes a vehicle off and picks up their 11th kill. So Naharekta scores an ace tanker here inside the AMX 1357. 2,879 damage doesn't sound exceptional, but 11 kills, 1,557 base experience points, and 37,000 credits profit with a premium account or without would still make 10k. And so it goes without saying that this is not a very profitable tank, considering this was the best possible matchmaking. So these 11 kills secure a Pools medal and a high caliber for that rather low amount of damage, but then again in a nice matchup. So the AMX 1357, is it an absolutely incredible tier 7 light tank? Well, according to the win ratio of it, yeah, it looks pretty darn good. But this is most likely because this is a very rare tank that hasn't been available for 3 years, and so it's going to be played by experienced players with exceptional crews. And it's worth mentioning that you should definitely not pick this up expecting to make a huge amount of credits. In fact, the Speerpanzer SP1C has been making nearly as much credit per game on average profit, even though it's not a premium tank. And so Naharekta, spasibo большое for uploading your awesome 1357 game on the worldoftanks.ru website. I thoroughly enjoyed it and thought it was a great showcase of what this vehicle is all about, and hopefully all of you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's time for another World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, 561 of you voted, and the winner is the very controversial Object 268 version 4. And so come along right now as I showcase the entirety of the heavily armored Soviet, rather mobile, pretty much everything tank destroyer tree. And if you've never seen one of my tech tree showcases before, they're basically like miniature tank reviews starting at tier 1 and working my way up towards tier 10, so you can see if it's a line that's worth grinding, although I'm not sure if you really need to be told if it's a line worth grinding in this case, but maybe you can pick up a few tips and tricks along the way. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.